Hey, everybody, it's Charli here with the Empowering Industry Podcast. We're at Epic. So the people that don't know this, it's Empowering Pumps and Industry Conference, and it's already been epic because we have been in a mine, which was amazing. So that's why I'm a little shiny. I got a little gold and silver on me now, but I'm really excited to talk with you, Gakuo. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm a senior engineer right now at WD Bearings, but I've been in the fluid machinery world for 10 years now. Got a degree in mechanical engineering from Rowan University, and I live near Philadelphia. So it's nice to be here again, Charli.
Yeah. So I love that it's me and you on the mic here again. I can kind of think backwards to the beginning of, creating social media presence. And I made you do a Facebook Live. Do you remember that?
I do. Sometimes I'll even watch it again because when we did it, it was just kind of off the cuff. But I feel like a lot of people resonate with just having a conversation, right?
Well, I think that was it. It was like I wanted to try the new tool. I wanted to make sure that, we just make mistakes by doing. And I think that that's one of the things. I mean, you're an engineer, right? You can't know the answer without some type of testing. And so there are some boundaries in there for testing. And so mine was, okay, this is not gonna hurt anybody, right? We're just gonna record a message. But with engineering, it's a little different. So how do you kind of know we're good to go on an idea or project?
Well, like you just said, you never really know. You have to try. And I think sometimes young people struggle with trying and maybe failing or maybe not knowing all the answers. It's okay. I'll say that it's okay being a senior engineer. You're never going to figure it out all at once. So part of the process is learning, and that takes years, maybe decades. So don't worry, you'll get there. Just keep going.
Yeah. And I think that as we move forward, and I mean, part of the things that we're doing here in Colorado is trying to inspire the next generation. We want people, to come together, which you always inspire me. And it's funny, I can't call you like the next generation because you're doing it right now, right? But you are kind of that leader, and looking at that and looking at our future leaders out there is coming to, the Colorado School of Mines is so inspiring. And we have had so much fun and are just energized from seeing people learning, seeing little sparks or smiles, in the mind, but also just interacting with people. And I think that's a big part. So I always think of you as that person who is like, okay, let's take a risk. Let's check it out. And that's not a typical engineer. So
I'll say this, your platform, and celebrating people like me, what you've done, you've kind of encouraged us to keep going. I see a lot of the young, talented staff, they're doing a really good job at their careers, but they don't feel like it. And sometimes they need a Charli to say, hey, you're doing really good, right? You've been in there for 3 to 5 years. Keep going. As a matter of fact, inspire the next generation. So that's where you kind of come in.
Yeah. And I think anytime that we can celebrate people, right, it's a win because first we're reminding each other, right, that we can encourage each other, that it's okay. And that's what allows us to kind of go out there and try something new. It's like they're not going to be critical about it. They're not going to just, this is not going to be the end of my career because I suggested an idea that was wrong. And so it allows people to open up and tell more about their real, true ideas and innovation, I think. Yeah.
And you do inspire a lot of women too. And not only that, women in the field of engineering who, generally struggle in terms of numbers. But seeing someone like Charli who could get up in a mine, right, stand in front of a machine and say, tell me how you do this, and doing it, that's the kind of courage I think people need to see. So keep doing it, Charli. I mean,
yes, I did that. I did get in the mine. I went up and, it's just like a piece of equipment that you've never seen before, first of all. Anytime I see a piece of equipment, I'm just in awe of it. And I want to know how it works. And I want to know, how it's used. And then when I stood up on that, it was like, okay, I don't know where to put my hands. I don't know where this feels uncomfortable. But somebody guide me and tell me. And then it was like, oh yeah, I can totally see how this works. And then the next time I did it, it would be easy to me and I could actually show the next person. And so it is about cheerleading. I do have that, celebration piece. I want to uplift and encourage. But there's also, if we don't get people to step outside their comfort zone, then they won't actually do the learning. They will think that they're learning, but it'll just be theory.
And it can't just be you all the time, Charlie, right? We all have a responsibility. And I've tried my best also to celebrate other people, to encourage them, hey, I see what you're doing. You're doing good work. Keep going. But we can't wait for someone like Charlie to do that. It has to be a manager. It has to be a colleague. It has to be a friend, whoever it is. Encouragement does help. Trust me, it really does.
Yeah, but that's a good point. We can't ourselves individually create change. I mean, we have to ignite that spark in everyone else, and take it back to our companies, take it back to our families, and be able to really talk through where we're going. And so that's what we're doing at Epic. Thank you for being part of the steering committee advisory board. And being part of the advisory board, do you feel that you're a part of what we're creating here? And, what does that look like? I guess this is our third year of Epic. What do you think? You've seen it grow. So what do you think about being a part of that?
Well, I think if you look at an industry, there's not many African Americans who are, I guess, visible. Right, they're there. There's a lot of engineers in our industry, but sometimes people need something to look at, right, to shoot for that star. Maybe that's what I'm bringing on intentionally, but that's why I put myself on boards like this, just to show others that, hey, there's others like you, right, and encourage them. So thank you for offering me that opportunity.
Yeah, and representation matters. We saw that today in the mine. My daughter got to come and be a part of that. She's 14, and she just clung to Jess, who is, she's a geologist, but also now has her own marketing mining career. But it was fun for her to have somebody young, somebody that she could look to herself like, oh, I want to be her when I grow up. So it is that representation of somebody in business that you want to be a part of, whatever the business, whatever the industry. It's like, okay, now I've seen that. I know that I can do that too, because there's a person doing it. And so that's on the basic level, but also in the management level and the level where you're being seen as somebody of influence or authority on, or those type of things maybe tense people up, or I don't want to share that idea, or I don't want to ask that question because I don't want people to know that I don't know the answer. And I feel like that is what speaking up and being that influencer, if you will, it's the thought leadership. It's the subject matter expert that now I can look at you and say, okay, yeah, I can do that because I've seen you do it. So you are doing that. And so hopefully that will bring in more diversity into the workforce, which is what we want and what we need for the future. So yeah, I'm thinking about Epic right now, where we bring the workforce and industry together. What does that mean for you?
Well, I was just talking with a colleague that Epic is different than any other conference. Personally, for me, there's a human element to it. A lot of conferences more product centric. A lot of conferences, it's marketing focused. You can't have a deep conversation. You can't have a conversation about, coaching, mentoring there often. So I want Epic to grow so where people can help develop their careers from it. So like you, I kind of see Epics being the place where, I need to develop myself and my career.
Well, let's talk about something. So when I think about my career, I started, teaching people how to use social media when I started Empowering Pumps. And that has just changed so much in the last decade, right? So if I was teaching somebody, there is no way that I can teach them the same way that I learned. They can't do the same things the same way that I did it today. And I think that if I look back on it and I do tell my story, and I hope everybody listening to this will go and use social media for personal and business within boundaries, right? But it can't be done the same way to grow. So everybody's career path, career development journey, social media presence, influencer journey, none of it can be the same exactly. But we can do best practices, lessons learned, terms we've heard, traditionally.
And the second element to when you are successful, share it. It's not bragging. It's showing others what they can also do and also encouraging what they can do. So Charlie, you would be successful even if you didn't put yourself out there. But how many other people like you would you have not missed to inspire, right? So it's kind of on us to celebrate what we achieved, because there's somebody else looking behind you saying, wow, what else can I do as well?
There's a lady that just came to our conference, Epic. She's an empowering woman colleague. And so that's our other business where we do and bring women together to connect, celebrate, educate. And so Empowering Women in Industry, she's following me on social channels and everything. And I've been part of her sessions that she does as a leadership coach. And she actually, because she's in this area, Colorado, she made the journey over here just to meet me. And it is such an honor when that happens, because you don't know who is following you to that extent, right? It's not, we say pump talk celebrity. I think you've done that, right? That celebrity piece. But it's so important that we recognize that and capture that and know it for ourselves, because then we know what type of impact we're making. And then it's not about us anymore, right? It is about how can I use my influence to impact greater change out there in the industry? And that's why we're here. We want to do that also for the pump industry itself and beyond.
Exactly. And it's about what industry do you want to see in the future? So whatever you struggle with, you have an ability to change it and impact it. But that requires a part of you to take action and have a purpose. So hopefully, if you did struggle with something, there's a next generation who's looking forward to you to help them with that. So that's my words of encouragement around people in our industry who it's getting difficult, it's getting more technical, it's changing quite a bit. But there's also a group of talented young people coming behind us. So they're going to be looking for us to give them that direction.
Yes, and we want to encourage those leaders. And I think about leadership, and what I think is, it is a responsibility. We have to say yes to that responsibility to lead others, whether it's my child or if it's, a CEO that doesn't quite feel like he wants to be in the room and talk to people at this level. We've got to all do it together. And so I want to encourage that CEO all the way to the operator, all the way to the little kid that's playing in the dirt to, be that leader, see that leader in yourself, because we all have influence. We influence everyone that's next to us. So Gakuo, thank you for influencing me into, being a part of this podcast. Also being just part of the advisory board. It's always refreshing to, have your perspective there. And so thanks for jumping in and supporting us as you do always.
Anytime, Charlie, anytime. As long as you're going, I'll be going as well.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. So until next time, everybody, be empowering.